Welcome to That Guy Talks Movies. I'm that guy that talks movies. And real quick, I want to talk about one of my holiday must-watch movies that's on my every year. I do a movie thing where I watch certain movies, holiday movies, Home Alone, A Christmas Story, A Christmas Carol, A Wonderful Life, Die Hard, and of course, The Godfather. And that's the one I want to talk about in particular on this particular episode. It's going to be a quick episode. I just want to talk about it because I did a list of holiday movies, must-watch movies, and I did that last year. I'll put a link to that up here if you didn't see that, but that was the 2021 edition. Now, I'm going to tape a new edition of that with a holiday list, pretty much the same movies because it's usually the same movies year after year. Like I said, Die Hard, The Godfather, Christmas Carol, Home Alone, Elf. These are the Polar Express. So the new version I'm going to do is going to have some updates to it because of the 4K acquisitions that I have in some of those movies. So Polar Express, for example, Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Elf, Polar Express, I think I said, those have been updated on 4K. So I'm going to talk about those videos, right? But what I really want to do here is pretty much separate one of those movies to its own video. And that is going to be The Godfather. Now, that, again, was on my original list, but this came out in March. So this year was released. This is the 50th anniversary edition. This is the collector's edition box set. This is like a 3-pound set with a booklet and some artwork I'll show you in a second. And it's a 4K version of The Godfather, and it looks incredible, probably like it's never looked before outside of the actual movie theater. So I want to talk about it really quick and share with you my thoughts on it since I did acquire it and I've never done a real video on this. So I don't need to talk about The Godfather. I don't need to go into that. It's a classic film. You either know it or you don't know it. For me, it is a Christmas staple in my lineup. I've played it for so many years. I can't even remember how long. And maybe that's why I'm used to it being a Christmas movie. So maybe that it's taken over that thing. Some people think it's not a Christmas movie. I think it is. It takes place during Christmas. It's about family. There's a warm feeling I get when I settle in front of the fireplace and I've got this thing on and Nino Rota's music starts to creep in. It just feels really good to me. And it has that feel to it, right? It's family, loyalty, and power struggles and family struggles and stuff, even though there's violence. Still a Christmas movie for me. Anyway, let me talk about this disc. So back in 2007, the Blu-ray was released. That was the restoration, the Coppola restoration that they did. And they went with Gordon Willis, who was the DP for the Godfather films, and some other people to do a restoration process of the actual films for that release. And they didn't have a 35 millimeter, original 35 millimeter negative for the original Godfather. They had it for Godfather 2, 3, and for Godfather Coda, but not for the original one. So it was a lot of work for them to do the restoration of that film. And then in 2020, they decided they were going to get ready to do the release for 2022 for the 50th anniversary. And that's what they did. So they started the process. Then they got a few people together to do like the colorist. They got some special people who do like specialize in restoration of films. And they went to town on restoring all of the films. And they are absolutely magnificent. So let me just first show you the actual packaging. This is the packaging. There's two different versions of this special edition. There was a smaller one. It's like a little box. I think it's like a red cover and some artwork on it. Includes all the same material, but it's a smaller, but actually it doesn't include all the same material, but the same movies, right? So this is this is like a 3-pound thing. You can see that. I think you can see the gold lettering on this. It's beautiful. You open this up and there is a book in there. I'm going to pull that out and show you. So you pull out the actual booklet. It's a hardcover, hardbound book. And in here, you've got photographs and stories and such from Francis Ford Coppola. And you've got different, film stills and such. There's one particular picture that's very interesting that I find, which is it's a shot of Mario Puzo's original, the novel, like a page from the novel. And Coppola's got notes there on the actual page, and there's like all this detail. And I just thought that was really interesting to look at. So once you get through the actual booklet and all these photos, you've got the actual disc that are here. So there's the Godfather 1, 4K. The only thing I complain about when it comes to this whole set, because it's not a cheap set. So I wish they would have done a better job with how they're housing the actual disc. They kind of slide into these little pockets, these little pouches, and I just think that's kind of flimsy. You might recall I mentioned that on my Fellini box set as well, the way the discs are actually housed. It's kind of flimsy. But anyway, so there's Godfather 1 in the front. You've got Godfather 2, Godfather Coda. You've got the special bonus disc, which is where Godfather 3 resides. And the Godfather, so it's the original theatrical cut and then the other version of it. And then you got the bonus supplemental materials that are here on the bonus disc. So basically Godfather Coda is being presented like as its own disc. So I guess like Coppola is saying this is the definitive version. Now, when it comes to Godfather 3, I don't watch any of them. And I did try to watch Coda. I did see it in the 4K version. And even in 4K, it didn't do much for me. So that's that on the films. We'll get back to that on a second. But as far as the packaging goes, there's also these nice art stills like that are pretty cool. This is the Don himself, Vito Corleone, with the cat. I love when he takes the cat and kind of puts the cat down off the desk. So there's that version. There is young Vito Corleone, Robert De Niro from Godfather 2. Really cool picture. Probably my favorite of the films. And then you got Al Pacino, Michael Corleone in Godfather 3 or Godfather Coda, whatever you go with. All right. And that's pretty much it for the actual box set. I can tell you now, as far as the video, again, because they didn't have the original negative for the Godfather 1, or they had issues with it, they had to do a lot of work to restore that. So the video quality for Godfather Part 1 is not as pristine as the work on Godfather 2, Godfather 3, Godfather Coda. Those are like the shining, super, whatever. Those are like the platinum versions of video quality. But that said, Godfather 1 still looks better than you've ever seen it unless you saw it in a theater. It's definitely worth the upgrade from the actual Blu-ray, the previous version. The thing that stands out the most for me is there's a supplemental material disc that has all the extra features. All the ones that were on the previous 2007 Blu-ray have been ported over to this new one, but there's new features here. Specifically, there's the restoration process on what they needed to do to get this ready for the 50th anniversary. And that is the standout thing for me. Watching that and seeing what they had to do and bringing in colorists and seeing all the process behind the scenes on what they had to do to get this film to look the best it's ever looked is fascinating to watch, and it is absolutely phenomenal. So if you get a chance, you definitely want to see that. Again, going back to the video quality and what they actually did, they didn't go overboard with trying to HDR and make things look crazy when it comes to color. They kind of retained the original color, but tweaked it just enough to retain the integrity of what it should look like at that particular time. It's a dark film by nature, so this is not something where they cleaned it up, sharpened it, and made it crystal, 4K. I think anyone who's paying attention and knows film and you collect physical media, you know about 4K stuff and about film and filmatic looks and cinematic looks and grain. You're not going to expect The Godfather to look like some sharp, crystal clear, Transformers movie or something along those lines, right? What they did here was clean up things just where they need to be cleaned up, retouch things just the right way, brought the shadows up just a little bit. The blacks are black. Everything works beautiful here. And they really, the process and the painstaking process they went through to do it, and the attention to detail to not only make things better, but to not go too far making them better. That's what makes this absolutely brilliant to look at. So this is the definitive version of The Godfather to own, and I can't stress enough, if you are a film fan, if you're a film aficionado, somebody who loves physical media, someone who collects movies, you're a fan of The Godfather, this is a must own. It's not even a question for you at this point, right? It really comes down to whether or not you want to spend the money on this version, this black box collectors thing, or the other version, which again, I'll probably put a picture somewhere while I'm talking here, but it's a smaller box set. I think this is the better version. So if you can acquire this or you find it on sale, this would be the one to go with. But again, it's not a question of whether you should own this, and it is a holiday time. This is the time to watch Godfather. If you agree with me on that and you think The Godfather is a holiday movie, it's a Christmas movie, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. If not, hey, whatever. All right, let me know as well. Also, let me know what your favorite Godfather film is. I can tell you now, for me, it's Godfather 1, Godfather 2, religiously. Godfather 3, I never even bother watching. Like, I just don't put it in. It kind of just, I end it right at 2. And I think 2 is my favorite of the 2 films. So anyway, all right, that's it for me on That Guy Talks Movies. If you haven't subscribed and you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on the way out. Also hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm and everything out here. And for those of you who have already subscribed, those of you who stay with me and go through this journey with me. I truly appreciate your support and you guys always being here and putting your comments and such. All right. So that's it. I will do another video that actually highlights all of my films, including The Godfather. But again, I wanted to do this separate one because this was a special thing, a special edition that I acquired in earlier this year. So that's it for me on That Guy Talks Movies. I will see you on the next one.